Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Life is Strange, Forget Me Not from Titan Comics. This is a new book that is coming from the Life is Strange series of video games and franchise. Let's talk about the creative team before we get into this book real quick. This book is written by Zoe Thorogood with art by Claudia Leonardi. Covers we have Zoe Thorogood. Also, we have colors by Andrea Izzo and a few variant covers that we'll see at the end of the video by Emma Vicelli, Tula Lotte, and Angela Wu. Uh, in this book, after the events of Life is Strange, True Colors, Alex and Steph tour across the United States in their band until they find another lost soul on the side of the road, Lily. The pair take the teenager under the wing to uncover the truth of what she's running from. But there's more to Lily than meets the eye as she silently struggles under the weight of heartache and memories from lives she hasn't lived to protect those around her from the truth of pain. An all too familiar story to Alex, but there is time to save Lily from a familiar, lonely fate. Um, so, before I get into the review of this specific comic, uh, I actually haven't played the games. I've only read a little bit of some of these comics that are ties into the game or like spin-offs. I kind of think of these comics as DLC content where you really are just kind of experiencing the story. So I'll say for this specific issue, it almost feels like when you jump into a new pool and you can't really tell how deep it is. So at first you're a little disoriented, but once you kind of get your bearings, the creative team behind the book does a really good job of helping you get back above water and enjoy the story. So I really enjoyed this first issue overall, even without all the prior knowledge of the franchise. I think there's a really interesting mystery and a story here. These characters are likable, and I think if you are a fan of Life is Strange, you'll see a few Easter eggs and things that maybe are familiar to you from the games or from previous comics, or even just from the latest series, True Colors. But if you're coming into this fresh with new eyes, kind of like me, you'll still have an enjoyable story with interesting characters, likable characters, and a really fun kind of mystery as we move along. So, let me pull up some of the preview art here. Now, I'm not too familiar with Leonardi as an artist, but I really enjoy the work. I think it's just very charming, and I really like the character designs. It's just really fun, and all that tied in with the lettering, where some of these with the big expressions, and like the really big bubbles here, especially here when she's yelling out of the outside of the bus, and then we run into the mystery. Right, this page of Lily is jarring. Like it's just very cool. I love the aura. Like you'll see throughout the book, these characters have a little bit of like a coloring aura around them, and that's kind of a part of the powers from one of our characters. I think as you get into the book, you'll realize that, and it's a really fun way to show this on a static medium like a comic book page. With the different emotions representing different colors, which is kind of what we see here. Of course, there's a lot of mystery around Lily, and I think what she may be running from, why she's a runaway. I will say all the characters are drawn very young, so it was hard for me to tell how old everyone kind of was. But yeah, I can tell like for the most part, the characters are overall young adults and teenagers. So um, really cool that they're kind of just touring. They do get to see other characters. I won't go too much into it, but they do get to see other characters that you may recognize from a different story or even from a different game, or maybe the same game, just characters within the world. So yeah, I think Thurgood does a really good job of welcoming in a new audience while rewarding the existing audience with some of the little tidbits that are around there, and setting up an interesting mystery that starts unfolding very slowly. I think the book is very well paced. So I quite enjoyed this first issue. I'm a big fan of Thurgood regardless. So like I definitely wanted to check this out. Very happy that we were able to look at this a little bit ahead of time. Now, as far as I know, this book is supposed to come out on December 13th, which is what we're doing the advanced review today. If it doesn't, just come back and check it out whenever you get to see it. But according to the website on previews, this should be out on December 13, 2023. So if you want to hear me talk more about this, check out I Read Comic Books this week on our new podcast episode. If you missed it on Twitch live, I get to talk about this book with Brian and Mike. Brian is a big fan of this series, so he was able to guide us in a little bit more through this conversation. But I wanted to put a review as well on this channel. But I'll link in the description to the other video as well if you want a more in-depth conversation, and also so you can check out the rest of the episode on I Read Comic Books when it comes out um, on Wednesday. So if you have read this book, or if you're a fan of this franchise, let me know what you thought about this issue. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. Let me know which cover you picked up, because there's some really beautiful stuff that you'll see at the end of the video. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.